Welcome to the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene housing market update for May 2025. This video is for you if you want the facts about what's happening in the local housing market without any of the fluff, any of the pitches, or any of the sales hooks. By the end of this video, you will have all the information you need about the local housing markets here so that you can be an informed buyer or seller. It's that simple. My name is Phil Wells. I'm a real estate agent licensed in Washington and Idaho. If you want to talk to me privately about anything, my details will be in the description to this video. In this video, we're going to start by looking at that critical demand driver, mortgage rates, before taking a deep dive into the local markets here in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene to see what's been happening this month. Before we get going, go and follow me on Instagram. My goal there is to double my following here pretty soon, so go ahead and help me out there. So let's get into it. Looking first at the behavior of the 30-year conventional mortgage for the last month up to present day. If you are using a 15-year conventional, a VA loan, an FHA loan, USDA, or something else, you can look those rates up at Mortgage News Daily, and there'll be a link to that in the description to this video. The 30-year conventional mortgage at the start of April was at 6.71%. We then had a little bump back above 7% around mid-April. That will have affected sales as people's purchasing power declined. Since then, rates have gradually declined to where they are today at 6.89%. The Federal Reserve just announced that they are sticking with their funds rate as it is at 4.5%. So I really don't see it possible for mortgage rates to fall below, say, 6%, while the Federal Reserve continues to hold its rates steady. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But if you're a buyer or a seller, the Federal Reserve funds rate is something you should be watching. Now let's dive into our first local market, Spokane, and see what's been happening there this month. These are the latest figures that are available, and they detail actual sales here from April 2025. Sales here are up a modest 1.2%, which comes off the back of a 6% decline in year-over-year sales just last month. It's been something of a yo-yo year in terms of year-over-year sales here in Spokane. Remember back in January, we saw closed sales increase 17%. So this really does feel like a market that's trying to figure itself out, and there's no real trend emerging here. Median home prices in Spokane are $429,995, and they are up 0.9% on a year-over-year basis. That's not a small amount of money, and these prices continue to rise. In fact, I've rarely seen a monthly decline in home prices in the 6 years that I've been in this industry. Even when rates were 8%, home prices were flat or slowly edging upwards. Inventory continues to be lower than the national average. Here in Spokane, we're at 2.3 months of supply. Though that small pool of inventory is up 30% from last year, which is great to see. New listings and active listings are both up substantially too, which is something buyers should take pleasure in hearing. That means more options out there and fewer competitive offer situations. You can see days on market of 10 days, which is very low, and this is great news for the sellers out there that are trying to plan a move or even a simultaneous sale and purchase. If your home is priced right, you'll likely have a contract inside 2 weeks right now here in Spokane. So it seems like a good time to be a buyer in the Spokane market. You have stable home prices and increasing inventory. Unfortunately though, the 30,000-foot view is that relative to the national market, inventory here in Spokane remains very low. So the basics of supply and demand apply here. When you have less of a good, the price of that good rarely declines. So if you're waiting on the sidelines, hoping that the market is going to crash soon, I just don't see that happening anytime soon. You tell me though what you think. That being said, it is possible to pick up concessions along the way during a contract. When inspection items come up like roofs or furnaces, it's possible to negotiate price reductions or seller credits for that. It's also possible to negotiate upfront closing costs in a contract. I've worked on several deals this past month, and every single one of them had some kind of seller concession in there. If you're a seller in this market, know that if you're priced right, you can likely have a contract inside of 2 weeks here in Spokane. The trick is pricing it right and doing everything possible to properly present that listing for the market. Taking the time to do a pre-listing walkthrough with your real estate agent and looking for those negative things that attract eyeballs and attention, taking care of them, and also thinking about staging properties too is essential in this market. Now let's look at our other local market, Coeur d'Alene. Just to be clear, this isn't just the city of Coeur d'Alene. The Coeur d'Alene MLS incorporates a wide geographical area covering a lot of North Idaho. These are the latest figures that are available, and they detail actual sales from April. Coeur d'Alene actual sales in April moved downwards a modest 1.3%. And as you can see cumulatively for 2025 versus 2024, sales are ahead 3.6%. That is positive news and great news if you're a seller who maybe struggled to sell their home the past few years while sales were very sluggish and inventory was extremely high. In terms of months of supply, we're at 4.09. That is down substantially from the over 6 months of supply we had only a short time ago. This is huge news for sellers. Your risk of your home getting lost in a sea of inventory while there are multiple directly comparable homes to yours are reducing every single month. Median home prices are up 4.59% to $535,000 on a year-over-year basis here in April. Homes here, therefore, are still valuable. It's still one of the safest, best, and most beautiful places to live in the country, and people still want to be here. And home prices continue to reflect that. Median days on market in the Coeur d'Alene area for April are down to 57 days, which is the lowest I've seen in terms of days on market here for a very long time. So approximately 2 months on market should get you a contract here in Coeur d'Alene if you're a seller and you're priced right. Buyers in this market should look at days on market of 57 days and a healthy inventory pool as a sign that they can look for a home in a leisurely way. They don't need to rush out and schedule a showing within 24 hours of the home that they want to look at hitting the market. Buyers should also understand, though, that this doesn't necessarily mean that they can bag a deal on everything that's out there on the MLS. Homes here are retaining their value. Sellers know they're valuable. People are moving to North Idaho and they know that they're valuable too. So in short, you can get a home here in North Idaho if you're prepared to pay for it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't pick up concessions along the way, like inspection repair items or upfront closing costs. Those are things that can be negotiated, but expect to pay list price or there or thereabouts. But sellers need to recognize and understand that pricing their home and properly presenting it for market is everything. 57 days is a shorter time on market than we're used to seeing here in Coeur d'Alene, but it still represents a nearly 2-month feedback loop to figure out whether you did a good job or not. So it's important to put that effort in up front so that you can reap the benefits 2 months later. That's it for this video. Let me know if there's anything missing from these market updates that you want to see that's maybe an important decision-making factor that I'm leaving out. If you are looking at buying or selling a property here in North Idaho or Spokane, please reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and I'd be honored to work with you. My details will be in the description to this video. Until the next one, my name is Phil Wells, and thank you for watching.